Hi, good evening. How are you? Let me tell you a quick story before the main story. So, earlier today, I thought I was stressed. I really did. I thought, oh my goodness, I'm so stressed. What's happening to me? I don't quite feel all right. Things are not balancing. Why do I feel some bit of way? I feel moody ish. And then it just dawned on me that I was hungry. Can you imagine? So, I took a bite of something, and then all of a sudden, I was just very happy. So I'm learning something new every day. So one of the things I must not do is to make a recording without having eaten first. I was trying to make this clip earlier, and then one of my neighbors also bought a dog, so it kept barking. I was just like, "Good evening." Whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, Jesus Christ, what's happening today? I'm moody, and then the dog. So I'm learning a bit more about my body. If I feel slightly peckish, I must not do anything that involves speaking, lest I say something so painful. Do you get hungry so much that you get irritable? Oh my goodness me. So, yes, this is Eric's Stories, where you and I try to make sense of difficult conversations or just have fun. You know, life can be so serious. So, we try and let loose here and exchange ideas. My DM is open on Instagram and on Twitter just for you so that you can use that opportunity to share anything you might have. If you just want to reach out and say hi, completely permissible. Yes, so please make use of that. About about 3 weeks ago, a lady who is a friend of the series sent me a suggestion, and she said, "Eric, maybe in a tentative conversation, we should talk about signs to know you are ready for a relationship." And I thought, that's a good idea. I'd actually had that in my mind, but I thought it was so prescriptive. I hate to come off as though I'm telling somebody what to do because I am trying to figure my stuff out. I don't know what to do many times. So I hate involving myself. Maybe hate is a strong word, but I dislike involving myself in conversations that are very prescriptive. This is 146 ways to be successful in marriage, 22 ways to achieve orgasm in 3 seconds, 1,000 ways to let your wife have it every time, 42 ways to be a Mandigo warrior. When you pull up, people run. And most of those ways are always lies. All right. I don't think anybody knows everything like that. So, anyway, so I wanted to have a quick chat about questions you need to ask first yourself, and then maybe your partner or your significant other that would ascertain that you're ready to commit to a serious relationship. You know, oftentimes people ask me, another lady actually asked me, because I keep saying I don't have the want to at the present moment. I mean, life is in phases, men are in stages. Maybe another phase will come where I'll want I'll want to have the want to, but now I don't to be in a relationship. So most people really ask me, so what are you waiting for? What's cutting? And then the question that I hear, like, you know, when you go for these events where somebody, like couples events, and they're like, how did you guys meet? People love to ask that. And then you say, okay, so it was such a funny story. Let me tell you, yeah. So I was just trying to waste time in the bookshop. And then guess what? So I get into a bookshop because there was a bit of traffic. And I see this guy and I'm just like, I'm not going to look. And then I turn and our eyes met. Oh my word. And that's just how we met. So that's how you met. Yeah, at the bookshop. Then other guys would be like, so this one time it was raining and this chick just said, let me cover you with an umbrella. And the rest is history. Other guys say, I just knew it. You know, I knew it. When I bumped into him, I knew this is my man. There's a lady who told me that she dreamt that she would marry a man who was full of muscles. And then maybe weeks later, she met the guy with full of muscles who turned out to be her husband. Other people say, you will just know. Imagine, Eric, you will just know. There's just like a feeling. You just know. You look at them like this, you're like, you're my husband or you're my wife. But that's amazing. However, what if you are in the category of you just don't know and maybe you want to check if all the boxes would tick, or maybe have conversations that would make your knowing more certain? So that's the conversation. You know, in the surface area, we don't immediately see people's veiled, what is it called? People's quirks. You know, we just see, especially we are really carnal in a way we look at people. We are so carnal. We're like, hey, she's hot. I remember growing up, I used to have these ideas of a waspy waist chick, you know, who had pouty lips and maybe big brown eyes and pristine white teeth, who would look at me and very gracefully speak in a soft voice, like, hi, Eric, how are you? But are you one of those people who speaks in a whispery, quiet voice? I used to like that thing, Kitambo, but I find it weird now. So now I was going to tell you, guy, you won't believe it. Imagine the Matatu guys asking for more money. And it's like during the day, why are you whispering? Sharon, so you just speak loudly. The lecturer said that we will do the exam on Tuesday. You won't believe it. Why are you whispering? So anyway, so I was given to those criteria of things I wanted in a person. But now I'm grown up enough to know that most of these things simply exist in our mind. And they are not, it's very hard that you'd find them in one individual person. So it requires a conversation. So what happens then if you don't find them in a person? What happens, Jennifer, when you don't land your 6'9" or 6'5" man? What happens if you meet a 4'7" guy who has good content and treats you well and makes you very happy? What happens? Will you shun them because of the disparity in height? So, questions to ask to know you are ready for a committed relationship. On top of my mind, your conflict resolution style. I've learned, as you would, and as I agree, as I am sure you would, that conflict in a relationship is inevitable. So at some point, you're going to fight. But fighting is not a bad thing. How you quickly resolve the conflict makes for the difference between a happier relationship in my mind and that which is not so very happy. And unfortunately, a lot of us pick resolution styles from what we saw growing up in our homes or our guardians. So that if your mother used to throw a tantrum and toss plates and kitchen knife on the wall while arguing with your dad, maybe you grow up thinking that's fine. All right. So I think there is need to ask yourself if your ways of resolving conflict are healthy. And if they are not, what are you doing about it? That's the first question. Second question that comes to my mind is about money and debts, you know. Before we commit to this relationship, am I open and honest to discuss my debts with this person? And are my debts their debts? Are they willing to bail me out? Or do I sort my debts out first by myself before we can pool money together? Because money, as you know, as I've read, is one of the biggest challenges in marriages. They say people break up, or a lot of marriages head into annulment more because of money than anything else, really, than anything else. So money is another thing, especially debts. Your student loans, his car loan, if he has maybe property he bought with somebody and he owes those people money, that is a conversation you want to have. I think it's the have-to-haves before you commit. The other thing that I see in many circles around me is how we like to overlook things like religion. Okay, so you are agnostic, or you are an atheist, or you are Muslim or Christian, but I think specificity has its place. If you say you are a Christian as I am, what sort of Christian are you? Are you a Christian who is so deep for waking up in the morning and speaking in languages I don't understand, perhaps? Are you a Christian who goes to church on Wednesday for Bible study, Saturday to clean the church, then Sunday and Tuesday to meet your pastor? Or are you a peripheral Christian? All right? Supposing you go to SDA and I'm Catholic, and we get married and we have kids, where are our children going to go to church? That's an important conversation to have. Are you just assuming, Sebastian, that because your mother took all of your plus your siblings and herself to your father's church, that is what Naomi is going to do? Maybe not. You want to bring it up in a conversation. It's very important. If you're a Muslim, does that mean our children are going to go to madrasa? Or are we just so really in love that we are not thinking ahead? Because it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a challenge. Discuss the differences in religion. If you are a non believer, maybe you're agnostic or you don't believe in the existence of a God, are you going to feel some type of way when I start training our children in the ways of a deity you don't believe in? An important conversation to have. Do they know the ways in which you say I love you? Gary Chapman, an excellent book, Five Love Languages. I would recommend it 100 times over. Quality time, acts of service, gifts, physical touch, and yada yada. So I've learned, I remember I was once in this relationship. This woman used to say, you're so needy, you're so needy. You want to be hugged, you want to be hugged. All the time, if you're not hugged, your hand is not being held. She would bitch about some of that stuff. Did I say the B word? Oh my God. Yes. So you then want to understand the way they say, I love you, how love is communicated to them. If they want to be held and hugged, I am not a big public hugger. I don't like holding hands in town. But I'm very cuddly at home. I'd let somebody lie on my chest and wrap their arms like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. As we are watching something. Or yeah, I'm touchy feely, but in a very private way, not publicly. I feel some type of way when somebody holds my hand in public. I feel like the way you'd be eating a very elaborate meal in a place with people who are starving. I feel like that. So I love to keep it private, but that's just me. But whichever way you want to be held or not held, I think it's an important conversation to have. What are some of the ways you communicate you display your love? Very important. I know friends of mine who swear by wanting to be served, Feel nice when she makes a good meal and brings it to the table. Very important. I know women who swear that they want to be held, or just spend time with me. I dated this lady was like, one of my biggest prayer is that one day I just spend time with you on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We dated for close to a year and we never had. And I was just outside of my mind to know that what she was saying is the way she'd feel loved is if I made time for the both of us. Right? So it's very important to know the ways she or he says, I love you, and adhere to them. What am I leaving out? I think it's also important to talk about your parents. Do we like each other's parents? Maybe you've gotten to that level of seriousness in the relationship. Do you like the mom? Do you like the dad? Also, if there is a challenge, how are you going to be meeting it? Can my mother call you and ask for money, perhaps, Sebastian? Or will you be dealing with your mom as I deal with my mother? How is that going to work out? All right. So, so on top of my mind, those are some of the things I think would be important to have a chat about. A lady told me something interesting. A friend of mine, I went to meet her for coffee. She said that her friend was telling her, just in closing, that she doesn't mind pornography because she learns all the styles from porn. Okay? So I think there's need to have a conversation about flirting and discuss your attitudes about things like pornography. Is it going to upset you? Are you a holy Joe? So that if she likes porn and she watches it anywhere between 11 p.m. and midnight, and her argument is to spice things up in the bedroom, it would upset you. What about flirting? What are your styles of dealing with other people? Are you allowed to hug other people, for instance? All right. Yeah, so I think it's very important to set a tone about these things early enough so that you don't find yourself in a sticky pickle down the road in the relationship. I think resistance before the wedding often leads to disappointment down the road in marriage. And there is need for having this conversation. What else did I leave out you want to add? Good evening. Speak to you soon.